Brodes Media.
It's been nice, relaxing, putting the feet up and just watching wild card playoff baseball. And yes, we still have Yankees-Red Sox Game 3. And yes, there are a couple of Game 3s still to be played out. But now we know the opponent. Dodgers, Saturday, CBP. Bring it the fuck on. Bring it the fuck on. And if any of you are scared, go fuck yourself. That's all. That's all you got to do. Just go fuck yourself. I respect the Dodgers. I don't fear the Dodgers. I'm aware that they have great players. So do we. That's got to be the mentality. Now, I've questioned a lot about who the Phillies were all year long, but now it's shut-up time. And the way they ended the season with an injured Trey Turner, they gave me something to bite into, and I'm taking it. I want to reflect back to the Eagles' Super Bowl run. I didn't give a damn who was in their way. They were going to win the Super Bowl. The Packers? Please. Oh, but Brodes, Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. That's a way better dynamic duo compared to Syria. Shut your mouth. But Brodes, Jaden... Shut the fuck up. Stop it. But it's the Chiefs. It's Andy Reid. It's Pat Mahomes. Shove that up your rear end. If you are the team that is going to make it happen and hoist the trophy at the end of the year, nothing will stop you. This team feels internally that this is it for them. This is the season. It's all going to align. This is the season. They're going to attack. This is the season. They're going to finish it off, and they're going to complete the mission. And if that's the case, I'll buy into the energy that they're giving us, and it shouldn't matter who is in their way. Because it doesn't matter if it's an NLDS or an NLCS. If you envisioned a path for them to finally have the commissioner's trophy in their hands, and there's a dog pile on Duran, and here's all the guys running full speed to meet the rest of the crew to jump on one another. You'd imagine the Dodgers was going to eventually be a series that they need to win. So what's it matter if it's round 1, round 2? What's it matter? If you thought this team was going to win a championship, the Dodgers would be there. And now, they get it Saturday. And by the way, this whole Red Series, the Red Series was basically an inter-squad game. What the Phillies did Wednesday night with 31,000 people in the stands at CBP, that's what the Dodgers did against the Reds. The Reds making the postseason and playing in that series is a disgrace to Major League Baseball. They're not even close to being competition at a playoff level. The Mets! The Mets couldn't make it over that team. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should throw up profusely every night in your sheets and then lay in it all night, knowing you couldn't beat out the Reds for a playoff spot. But that level of competition, just because they hit some homers, just because they beat them up badly, that doesn't tell you anything. That's not a measuring stick series. They didn't do that against an opponent that is even close to being equivalent to what they're going to see when Bryce Harper steps up to the dish, when Kyle Schwarber steps up to the dish, when Brandon Marsh, that's right, I even gave Marshy a little love there, huh? Trey Turner, Bader, with Christopher Sanchez on the bump. It's a different animal. Oh, by the way, You're playing in this hostile environment. And I do know that baseball can get a little weird when you're at home, meaning the tension gets rough if you're the home team and the offense goes quiet and things go stale. You could feel the pressure. But the flip side is, man, if this thing gets off on the right foot for us and you're seeing singles, doubles, power, bombs, strikeouts, oh, ew, oh, yes, then you get suffocated by that electricity and you don't have the firepower to overcome that obnoxious 30 plus, 40 plus thousand people breathing down your damn neck. I honestly am going into this with an open heart, with all my questions and concerns for a long period of time this season. I don't know how else to do it other than let's rock, baby. And I like what I've been hearing from a lot of the guys. I like the mentality of the clubhouse. I think they understand what this means for this core and this group and this franchise and this fan base. And again, what I saw the Dodgers do against the Reds, that's equivalent to watching Bryce Harper go ding-dong against Walker Buehler in an inter-squad game. Watching him get a couple of hits. It's the same exact damn thing. Luzardo, we'll get into the pitching, but Luzardo, 9 Ks in 3 innings. Rob Thompson addressed the Aaron Nola situation with Joe DeCamera and John Ritchie on the WIP Morning Show. We got audio of that. The Alex Cora and the Boone back and forth and just what's going on in that series, man. That's tickling my undercarriage. That's for sure. And it's also making me wonder about how Rob Thompson's going to play this. So it's the best time, man. It's the best time of the year. The anxiety, the pit in your stomach when watching the slow-paced, methodical chess match play out. It's a blessing and it's a curse and it's a beautiful thing and it's a painful thing and it's a wild ride. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but I play the emotions pretty strongly, and I'm pumped up looking for that 3 hours of crazy, wild, emotional roller coaster rides. You know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is I can't fucking wait. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me tell you something. Philly fans, game day is stressful enough. Parking, traffic, long lines. We've all been there. But when it comes to your cannabis, Camden Apothecary makes it easy. And they are only 5 minutes over the bridge. This is the dispensary for sports fans. Just minutes outside of Philly with plenty of free parking. You'll be in and out fast, no hassle, no waiting, and they don't just care about convenience. Camden Apothecary is all about the guest experience. Their staff makes you feel taken care of every time you walk in. Plus, they carry only the best quality cannabis at the fairest prices. So whether you're stocking up for the tailgate, the watch party, or celebrating a big win, you know you're getting the good stuff without overpaying. They even show love to the community with specials for fans, students, service members, and healthcare pros. Camden Apothecary, top quality cannabis, great prices, and an experience made for Philly fans 21 and up. Tell them Brodes sent you for 10% off. You know I love the greens, baby. You know I love smoking a nice little how do you do. Oh, baby, it just makes it all better. Camden Apothecary. Hey, Brodes sent me 10% off. It's a no-brainer. Get yourself to Camden Apothecary today. All right, why don't we listen to Alex Cora, who, okay, so this is dating back to game 1, and I thought the way he managed to get, listen, I got to be honest with you, I really did get sucked into this Yankees-Red Sox series to a crazy level, and it's hard not to, right? Like, I have Guardians, Tigers on the TV in the afternoon, but I got stuff I got to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking care of the kids. I got stuff I got to do for Bleacher Report. I'm in the office here. It's off to the side on one of the TVs in here, but volume 4, Yankees, Red Sox, I'm sitting down and I'm not missing a damn pitch. That's how locked in I've been. The Reds, Dodgers, background. I'm reading a book a Stephen King book. It's been a while since I read. I went on a nice kick for a while, then I stopped for a while. Now I'm getting back into it. Dodgers Reds, I'm reading a book, okay? Mr. Mercedes. Check it out if you're interested. I don't know. Maybe we got a book club. Brodes' book club. Maybe that's coming soon to Brodes Media. But, my point is, nothing moves the needle the way this Yankees-Red Sox. I was outside of Phillies Dodgers coming up. And Crochet was left in. Fried was pulled. The Yankees didn't start some of their most powerful bats because Crochet is a lefty. But the way Alex Cora managed the game, they didn't allow for the Yankees to really even utilize their lefties off the bench because they went from Crochet all the way to... Everyone said, Kimbrel, please, no, I do not want to relive an experience like that. But Chapman, so it was just full on. He outmanaged the way the Yankees wanted to attack that game one, and the Red Sox, I thought, clearly had a better game plan. I'll apply all this thinking to the Phillies in a moment here, but first, this is Alex Cora on that decision to keep Crochet in the game and the way that he managed.
117 pitches, career high, and then his last pitch of the night was his hardest. What did you think of what he did tonight?
Amazing. I was just telling Bress that there's going to be stars during the regular season that we have to take care of guys for this, 85 pitches against the Mets, skipping a start here and there, the All-Star break, doing all that stuff is for this to happen, and you have to make sure you stay with the process. That's the most important thing. So for how great he was tonight, I tip my hat to the medical staff because they've done an amazing job with a guy that had never pitched 200 innings, have never made more than 30 starts, have never pitched, 7 2/3 in the playoffs. It's a total team effort, and I made sure the training staff, knew how I felt.
When he comes out for the eighth at 100 pitches, and then it's 105, 110, 115, are you taking it batter to batter at that point, or is there a point at which you...
No, not really. Matchups, I think that was it. It wasn't batter to batter. We felt that was a good pocket for him, and the stuff was really good. Knowing that we had Witt and Chappie ready, in case if it was first and second, probably it's Witt. Man at first, 2 outs, it was Chappie, but... never hesitated and never felt like this is too much because of the reasons I just told you. We did a good job throughout the season for him to be fresh going into the playoffs, and he proved it today.
All right, so what I think is super important about all that is, and I don't want to relive the Astro series and Alvarado and Zach Wheeler, because at that time, I feel differently than I do now. At that time, I understood going to Alvarado versus Yordan Alvarez, even with Zach Wheeler being Zach Wheeler. Now, you could convince me that keeping Zach Wheeler in the game is a smart idea as well. I think you had two good options, and Rob Thompson went with a good option. It just failed, but it also helped win you games in the World Series against the Astros, favoring that matchup, Alvarado versus Yordan Alvarez. No one ever brings up that game that you won because you did it. It helped you one time, it burns you the next time. I don't want to relive that whatsoever, but my point is this. Watching these games and the managerial decisions, it's just a reminder of how much these details matter from the manager. And I trust Rob Thompson. This is with full belief in Rob Thompson. This is with me saying this is one of the best managers in all of baseball. I think he's extremely intelligent, and I think he's learned a lot from where he was years and years ago. For example, if this was Rob Thompson 4 years ago, I think Aaron Nola is starting one of the first 3 games. I think he's either your second or third starter in the rotation because Rob Thompson wants to go down with his guys. Now, I don't give a damn who you are. I don't care what your name is. I don't care how much you get paid. I don't care how long you've been wearing a Phillies uniform. We are putting our best team out there. Hey, Nick, go scratch. And I didn't even really get an opportunity to put Nick Castellanos on blast for the obnoxious, embarrassing, pathetic comments a few weeks back because the Eagles played and that overpowered the storyline. But him throwing Rob Thompson under the bus. Oh, well, Rob Thompson is a good manager communicating. Well, who told you that? I don't experience that. And then Dombrowski went on the radio saying he was very disappointed that wasn't handled in-house. And that whole thing. and that's still lingering. Probably not for an NLDS. If they win the NLDS and Nick doesn't like the way that he's handled, he doesn't like some of his usage, and let's say Kepler or Marsh or anybody in the outfield, specifically probably Kepler more than anybody else, but if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, but Nick still isn't getting his number called, what type of drama and frustration and turmoil do we see with some of the post-game comments or whatever? I don't know. I mean, that's a discussion for another day. I'm not trying to bring the mojo down, but that's sort of my negative potential feeling about this team. But I trust Rob, and he's clearly managing different now compared to what he was doing when he first came over from the Yankees, and he learned from being, in that dugout for so long and getting that crack at it. I need to see them push the buttons. What you do in the regular season, well, why'd he get yanked here? Why'd he get pulled here? He still had 85 pitches, or he was only at 85 pitches. He still had 85 pitches. Then we'd be really having some issues with that particular game. But, if you get somebody out of the game in the 7th at 91, if you get someone out of the game in the 7th at 86, and you think, well, come on, man. And you go, well, it's not really about winning that game. It's about preserving this guy for the most important time of the year. And you're already in position to win that game. You're up by 3. You go to your pen. You don't need to push him the extra mile. All those innings saved and all those pitches saved from the workload, that is supposed to be about the now. And I want to see, even when someone's laboring, even when someone's having a little bit of a difficult time, and it depends who it is, right? Obviously, with Christopher Sanchez being your ace, he's not Zach Wheeler, but he is putting up he's closer to the Zach Wheeler stuff than not, but there's only... The reason I say that, I'm not trying to knock Sanchez. I'm not. I'm really just trying to tell you that guys like Zach Wheeler don't grow on trees, and guys like Zach Wheeler really are in a tier of their own. But if guys are a little limited, can you get an extra 2? Instead of it, hey, Sanchez only went 6, can you get 6 2/3? Because every out matters. The difference between going to Strom or not. The difference between having to look at Kerkering or not. The difference between having to use David Robertson or not. And if you have David Robertson going in multiple games, I like David Robertson in a 1-game setting. I worry about the age and where his body is at and the type of season he had, getting picked off the street when he did. What if you need to constantly look for that righty arm? Right? Like, that will play itself out over time, but game 2, game 3, game 4, it could all look different if you were to get an extra 2 outs in the 7th inning with Christopher Sanchez and push him to a limit where he's throwing 112, throwing 113, throwing 114. And again, it's a case-by-case scenario. If our eyes tell us the guy's throwing 8 straight balls, it's the 7th inning, Brodes, you can't get this extra out, then by all means, I'm very understanding. It's obviously a big picture and a very broad way to talk about it. But the overall point is, just because you did it this way in the regular season, the reason why you did it that way then is to set yourself up to push yourself extra now. And I trust Rob, and these managerial decisions are going to be crucial, but everything matters. Pinch running and, like hitting the cutoff guy, base running. This team has had, and I hate, I'm talking about Nick being a bad teammate. Now I'm talking about the poor base running, even though I came in guns blazing saying, let's go. And I still feel that way, but I'm just trying to stress and emphasize the importance of all the tiny, tiny details within a game that are all collectively going to be a difference and sway the outcome and the result of the game. I thought the Red Sox pissed away game 2. Bad base running, not being able to put a bunt down, and Duran in left field dropping a pretty basic, unique, simple catch out in left field, and that gave the Yankees life, and boom, they jumped on it, and there you go. Like every little tiny details matter, and I'm fascinated to see how we're going to get Rob Thompson managing. I'll say this, though. Again, I want to make sure that it's super highlighted. This is, it seems, a new era of Rob Thompson. It does feel that way. I think he's willing to get uncomfortable, and he wouldn't even call it uncomfortable. Like, he wouldn't call it uncomfortable at all. He'd be saying this is comfortable for me. But I think he's willing to go outside of the Rob Thompson that we once knew when he first started to get his feet wet as a manager. He's learned on the fly, and I think he's getting a lot more consistent. I think his voice is getting a lot more tense. I think he's sort of leaning away from, all right, I'm just going to rock and roll with this because this is the guy that I've done it with for a while. And now it's like, listen, I respect you and I love you and I appreciate you, but you're not it right now. It's Kepler. You're not it right now, Knowles. It's Luzardo. And I wonder how they're going to put out game 2 and game 3. Do you want Ranger Suarez to be on the road with Jesus Luzardo in the home game for game 2 after Christopher Sanchez? Do you look at how you can use maybe some of these guys out of the pen just in general? Like a Ranger? Does that factor into what you want? I mean, all hands are on deck. You got to do what you got to do. Here's Rob Thompson speaking with Joe DeCamera about Aaron Nola.
Is it your preference going in that Nola is your fourth starter, or is it your preference that it's someone else?
Well, I mean, I can't say for sure, but my preference personally would be Nola, just because I know him. I know who he is. I know he's stepped up when the lights are brightest. He's a guy that his heartbeat never changes, and I just trust him. I really do.
All right, so the fourth starter, though, when we bring up Aaron Nola and we talk about the fourth starter, I mean, that's a big difference compared to game 1, 2, 3. You talk about Aaron Nola in a 4-game sense. I've been saying this for a billion years now, but that was Bailey Falter. That was Noah Syndergaard. Say what you will about the disappointing season that Aaron Nola has provided for us. You talk about him in a 4 spot, it changes the whole entire complexion of the convo, you know? So for him to say those type of comments in respect to a fourth starter role, then I can live with that. But seriously, years past, he's throwing him in the second game, no matter what. Even with all the pain, all the suffering, all the bad starts, he gives you 8 and strikes out 9 in his last effort in the regular season. Rob would have chucked him into that 2 spot and started him game 2 at home probably. I wouldn't have been surprised. But here we are. Hey, you know what I love? Emilio Cigars, baby. Oh, my goodness gracious. The best cigar ever. The only cigar to smoke. The best cigar to ever touch my lips. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen. Old school roots, new school attitude, locally owned, made at Fabrica Oveja Negra, Nicaragua. This is as serious of a cigar as you will find. And what if I told you you get 10% off by going to the link down below in the description and utilizing code BRODES10 at checkout? There's so many options for you to choose from. And this is a 4-pack. You know where this is going? This is going right to the golf course. This is going to the boys when we go to the links and we say, hey, let's get a nice 18. Let's get away from the misses. Let's get away from the kids. Let's be men. All right, let's be men. Let's enjoy the day. Beautiful weather, fall weather, hitting the golf course. Oh, Emilio Cigar. But that's not the only place Emilio Cigars taste great. It tastes great everywhere. Every place on planet Earth. Your backyard, your front porch, your aunt's pool. You go to the pool, the beat. Oh, it's so good. Emilio Cigars. Make sure you check them out. All jokes aside, which I haven't told you a joke, but if I was to tell you a joke, all jokes aside, if you are an enjoyer of cigars and if you are a cigar smoker, do me a favor. Check out Emilio Cigars, again, made at Fabrica Oveja Negra in Nicaragua. These are so good. They're so beautiful. They're so outstanding. Give them a whirl. Brodes10, check the link out down below. All right, why don't we get into a couple anytime hotline calls here? I got to be honest with you, which I do all the time. I felt I started out at a 10, right? Hands in the dirt, ready to pounce. I feel I started out at a 10, and I was thinking about Red October, the rally towels, videos being shot and tweeted out by the Phillies social media team and the best fans, and listening to Kyle Schwarber talk about how nuts and how much we're animals and how crazy it is and the adrenaline rush that they get and all of it. I thought I was at a 10. And then I started talking about the team, and I'm going, I don't know. I felt like I lost it somewhere. Where I'm still, listen up, I'm still feeling all right, but I think I dipped to like a 7. That's how I feel, just myself, personally, how I feel as we're 20-something minutes into the program. I think that energy shifted a little bit down to a 7, and I'm very disgusted by it. So maybe we can go to the phones, and you can all help me out and bring me back up to a 10. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Brodes. I know you've been covering the Birds mainly for the past 2 weeks, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, nice start to the season for them. But it's that time of the year, baby. It is Red October, and we know the opponent. We're playing the Los Angeles Dodgers. It feels like this series is long overdue. And I've seen a lot of people kind of nervous, you know, the defending champs, you know, especially after they disposed of a shitty Reds team that really isn't playoff caliber, but maybe they are since the Mets are frauds and can't even beat the Marlins in a must-win game. But, you know, I think this is what postseason baseball is all about. You got to be the best to beat the best. You got to beat the best to be the best. And I will tell you this. If we play the lackluster brands of baseball that we've played the last two postseasons, then we might just get swept. We will get bent over. I mean, we could play perfectly and this series might still go 5. Okay? But I promise you this. Okay? I think our team is more battle tested. I think that the Dodgers, I'm not sure if they know what they're walking into Citizens Bank Park in October. Okay? They're from the West Coast. They don't understand what it truly means to play at the bank when the Phillies are rolling. And I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait till Saturday night. Go Phillies.
Yeah, man. No, I'm with you. The atmosphere, the energy, CBP, it's all going to come down to if we get the product that we expect. And remember, last time they played San Antonio, it wasn't very lowly until Dan Roberts took him out of the game, and then you started to expose some of the bullpen arms. So if he pitches the same way that he did during that sequence, we may be in trouble. But if not, and the offense starts to light them up, and that place just explodes, then it will be overwhelming with emotions, and it'll be all the, you know, all the crazy hectic scenes that we can imagine, and in best case scenario, and that will absolutely be the difference, and that's just going to overpower them for sure. So they got to give us something to give us that feeling and to be erect. Don't know if that's the word I was looking for. X factors. You ready for this? One is an obvious one. The other may surprise you, not because it's not a big name, but because it's me saying it. Number one is Duran. And I think that's the obvious one, right? There's been times where there's been a lot of singles. There's been a few hits. And you could say unlucky all you want. I think that's a product of throwing 104 and just trying to put the baseball bat on the baseball, and you're going to get hits that way. And then we've also seen some homers and whatnot. Like, Duran's got to be locked down. Locked down. Doesn't mean there can't be a base runner, okay? But it's got to be locked down. So Duran, X Factor 1, shutting out games, 1-run games. These are going to be close. They're going to be intense. It's going to be a lot of anxiety. You need to be on that mound and realize it ain't Minnesota. It's Philadelphia. Now, I think he can. I believe he can. It's been a little shaky as of late compared to what it was when he first got here and when he first got dealt and he was in the trade and he put on a Phillies uniform. There were a few outings there where it was just straight up, nobody's going to touch him ever. We win every game we get to the 9th, no matter what the lead is, 3-2-1, stick it up your ass. We're winning the baseball game. And it's no longer that feeling, but I still feel good with him out there. Duran's X Factor 1. Here's X Factor 2. And I'm going to say this statement. Me, Trey Turner, being Trey Turner of 2025, that's the X factor of winning a championship or not. Now, I'm not putting it all on his shoulders, but I'm saying if he plays the way he played prior to the injury, he's getting on base, he's stealing bags. I'm watching Yankees Red Sox. I see the difference it makes when you're on second, when you're on third, when you get a single with 2 outs. I see the damage the Yankees do with 2 outs. If Trey Turner is that guy, and if Trey Turner can trust the hamstring enough to be aggressive on the bases, take extra bags, get on base, get those singles, infield singles, apply pressure to the defense to have to make throws, that's it, man. And if we get a version of Trey that's hobbled, not because of him. I'm saying if we get unlucky and the injury is something that limits Trey Turner, and he can't be that, then it clearly limits their ceiling. So I'm giving Trey Turner a lot of love. This is for me to open up my heart to Trey Turner as an individual and as a player that I wasn't necessarily fond of prior to this season and for a good portion of this season. But Trey has been that great. Trey has been that consistent. Trey has been that awesome. His defense has been cleaned up. If him and Stott could flash the leather, you saw the play Jazz made to save a run at second base. Again, the poor base running by Boston. Eaton maybe could have scored. And that's also the importance of the base paths for the Phils. But my point is, maybe the Dodgers screw up. Maybe the Dodgers have failures. You have to make the most of the other team's failures. You got to make them pay. If they do something stupid, if they do something silly, if they miss opportunities to score, you have to make them pay. If they're giving you free passes, if they're going to walk you, you have to make them pay. That's what's got to be done, man. Every detail matters. Not that that's breaking news, but it's just a refresher as you watch some of these wild card games, getting a bunt down. I used to be anti-small ball, this and that. I don't care. Do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do. Now, I don't want to see 4 bunts or 3 people try to bunt consistently. I don't want to do all that crap. You know, sometimes I watch that the Cleveland Guardian. I'm going, well, this is just too small ball. I mean, you know, the Tiger, this is too much small ball. I do have, you know, a brain that can only consume so much small ball. But I don't care. Do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do. Let's go back to the cause.
All right. This Saturday, game 1, Shohei Ohtani, Christopher Sanchez will be on the mound. I'm looking forward to this playoff series. If we want to be the best, might as well play the reigning World Series champions in the best of 5 series in the NLDS. It almost seems like an NLCS series. But I'm confident in the Phillies. I think we can probably take it in 5. But if they could surprise us, I think we're going to be all right. I think if we get Shohei Ohtani here, get into that bullpen, I think we can really do some damage. Cincinnati did some great matchups against the Dodgers bullpen, and if this offense for the Phillies gets hot, look out. This is going to be a good advance to the next round.
I appreciate the call. So here's a couple of positive spins on where they're at. One, you know, the fear is you have the week off and then the bye week, which I never subscribed to that, but that's been a thought for a while now. Take this into consideration. You ain't not locking in for the Dodgers. You know what I'm saying? No, you would have been locked in if it was the Mets, the Reds, but I'm just saying, like, it's the Dodgers. Like, it's the Dodgers. There is a different tone set. There is a different energy level. There's a different focus level. It's the Dodgers. The intensity of the pregame thoughts, the intensity of the pregame research, the intensity of the player being locked in, walking to the dugout, walking to the facility, walking to batting practice, walking to Citizens Bank Park in totality, walking to their cars in the morning, making their coffee in the morning. Everything is just up 7 ticks because you are facing the LA Dodgers. That fear of, hey, they got a week off, maybe they won't be this, they won't be that. No. It's the Dodgers. And I know the fear factor in the bye is more about flow and whatnot, but I don't think there'll be an issue with the lack of flow and the lack of continuity with their bats because you're so locked in that it's the Dodgers. The pressure of this series and the magnitude of this series being a 5-game series too, I think it being this team compared to a Reds team where they're like, hey, we could beat the Reds. And then you never know what can happen. Oh, we could beat the Reds last year. Oh, we could beat the Mets. And you never know what happens. I don't think you're going to lose this series because they think, it's the Dodgers. Maybe the Dodgers just end up being better than them over 5 games. And then we'll discuss that when we discuss that. But, I think their attitude and their focus level on this matchup being what they were handed is perfect for Just, the narrative around having the bye and what happened last year and winning the division and still falling and still crumbling the way that they did. There's that. The next is, and I don't want you thinking ahead, but if you win this series, I'm not saying take your foot off the gas, the next opponent isn't as good. That's not what I'm saying. I think you're feeling great about yourself. I think you're talk about momentum. I mean, it would be through the roof. My point is this. You win this series, you're set up for the dance. Now you have to execute. You win this series, you're set up for the dance. Compared to the alternative, which, let's say I don't know, the Reds are a bad example, but let's say, who's I don't know. Let's say you face a team like the Padres or Cubs in round one, in a different world. You got Padres in the DS. You beat the Padres, now you got to see the Dodgers in the CS. That's a different feel. If you beat the Dodgers first, you're in a good way. Got the confidence, you got the arrogance, you're smelling it, you got to pounce. It's right there in front of you. And the way it's set up, if you get past this, man, it's right there for you. Maybe people don't like that and it makes you uncomfortable because you're sort of overdoing what's the now. You're overcomplicating things. Dodgers, Brodes. Focus on the Dodgers, you fucking moron. I know. I agree with that. That made me a little uncomfortable. But that's just where it took me. I apologize. Let's finish up here with the last call.
All right, Brodes, it's the Dodgers. All I can say is this. We just got to get through their starting pitching. Problem is, and they might be saying the same thing about us, but problem is their starting pitching can go 7, can go 8. Gotta jump on them early. The bats cannot go quiet. And their bullpen's not good. I think everybody knows that. I think they know that. And we just gotta hop on them early. Gotta get some runs on the board, get the starter out, and then we can get the ball moving. It's gonna be a close one. I've got Phil's in 5. We'll see what happens.
You're right about being able to get to their pen, though. So we'll see. I'm watching this Reds thing. As I said, I was reading my book. I look up over the top of the book on my bases loaded. I thought the score was like 8-1. It's now 8-4. The guys are going on base. I'm like, all right, dude. We'll see what happens. I'm pumped up. Listen, DraftKings, baby. Just saying, big opportunity on DraftKings. Your season, your shot. We got baseball, we got the NFL season, which is rolling. And every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. So how about a Jalen anytime touchdown on Sunday? How about A.J. Brown over receiving yards after all the drama? You got the college football slate, again, baseball playoffs, so many opportunities for you new customers. This one is for you. Bet just $5 and you will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Brodes. That's code Brodes to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. This is a limited time offer. All right, everybody, go Phils, baby. Go Phils. Ew, I can't wait.